Hey everybody, this is Michael Bryson and Gregory Ulysse for This is Bodybuilding. How you doing today, Greg?
Very good, actually, very good, very good. It's very hot in Montreal.
Is it?
Very hot
It's
as
hot.
usual.
It's hot in
Oh yeah,
Texas too. um,
oh yeah.
Speaking about being hot in Texas, the Texas
Yeah,
Pro is this weekend. Big show, and I'm
yeah, you're
happy.
good.
Yeah, I'm happy I get to go to it. Actually, I have a pass to see it, and I'm really excited about it. We could
It's
talk
shaping up to
about.
be a good show. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah, I think every division is really shaping up really well. They posted today the new list. Most of them are correct, but there's a couple of things that are off
okay,
because I've spoken to a couple of the athletes and who I now know are not doing the show. But we have listed here also
okay,
athletes who are doing the show who last week we didn't necessarily know were doing the show. We can start talking about
okay.
men's open bodybuilding, which is the show everyone really wants to see. This is the first time that men's open bodybuilding has been in Texas since I think 2014 Dallas Europa.
Yeah, exactly. The one that Branch won. Yeah,
Yes,
Branch won. I think Branch won against Cedric, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yes, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so this is a big return, and I'm really happy. The promoters of the show are all really great people. Freddie Nadeau, who himself was a former men's physique competitor. I think he went to the Olympia in men's physique. Um, Flexi Brown and Angelica Teixeira, who
Yes.
the two-time Ms. Olympia bikini champion, are promoting
Mhm.
the show for Battle Up Productions. Big show in men's open bodybuilding. I'll just go through the list from 1 through 10. There's 10 competitors.
Okay,
Philip
okay.
Clark is doing the show. Phil did
Hmm.
amazing last week in Tampa. We can talk about that a little bit too. Camilo
Yes.
Diaz, very good
Hmm.
bodybuilder.
Yes.
Mohammed El Iman, great
Yes.
bodybuilder. Martin Fitzwater, I'm really looking forward to seeing Martin. He is
Yes, you're right.
training
The young
partner
guy.
with Brett Wilkin, really good bodybuilder. He's got
Yes.
a really good physique. Uh, Dallas Frucci. I always
Hmm.
mess up his name. Dorian Haywood, also very strong. Uh,
Yes,
Kevin
yes.
Jordan, who we saw last week as well. Steve
Hmm.
Kuklo,
Yes.
the King Snake from here in
Yes.
Dallas, Texas. Hassan Mustafa and Ian Valier.
Yes.
So really stacked show. Really stacked show. I think a lot of us right off the bat are thinking it's going to come down. I don't know what you think, but it's probably Steve Kuklo and Ian.
You know what?
You froze on me.
It looks to be like Cooks against Ian. It sounds like it. Oh, yeah, you good? Well, you know what?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
good.
going to take off my Wi-Fi, okay? Because the Wi-Fi is, hold on, okay? Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm going to do that because that was going to be easier for us to, not going to be cut. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to take off. Yes. Yes. Good. All right. You hear me? Okay, I got you. You hear me?
Yes,
I
perfect.
don't see you. Okay, hold on. I don't see you yet. I don't see you. I
Oh,
guess I'm going to see what? Yeah, I don't see you now. Now it's dark. Now it's
oh,
you're dark.
oh.
You're in the dark now. But I hear you now. Okay, you're good
Okay.
now. Perfect. Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
good.
Got it. Okay, good.
We'll edit this
Um,
part.
yeah. You know what? It's Ian against, it's Ian against Steve. I mean, I don't know now. Ian got a good win against in Tampa against a very good of a Philip Lahar who surprised a lot of people. I think, as we said, we talked offline. Ian won. It wasn't a decisive win, but he won the show. Now Steve Kuklo is it's a different beast,
Yeah,
very different. And as we all know, Ian has never beaten Steve ever before.
right.
Um, and I like Ian's mentality.
Me
People
too.
online right now are like giving him flag because why are you doing the show in Texas? Because if you win, you're taking somebody's place at the Olympia. that mentality is so stupid.
It's so stupid. In what business do you not try your best to get as many wins as possible? Because you want somebody else to succeed. You
No,
don't
I
do
mean
that. It's not the way it
I
goes.
don't get it. I mean,
Yeah.
these people are professionals. Back in the 90s, guys were doing 5, 6, 7 shows.
Yeah.
I remember, I'll give you an example. Darren Charles was called the king of the $10,000 shows, but doing every
Yep.
show. And nobody
Yes.
complained. The problem is that today, guys compete so little now that when somebody comes to soft, they're all surprised.
Yeah.
Well, duh, it's supposed to be like that. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
exactly. And it's a really good, like he said too, it's also a chance for him to see how he measures up to Steve, who he's never beaten before.
and it's a
Um,
good thing.
yes, Ian has improved vastly from the last time the two of those guys stood on stage together.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve has been constantly improving as well. So it's
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
going to be very interesting to see. I mean, I think Steve has got a more complete physique at this point. Both had similar weaknesses in terms of like chest
Yes,
before,
yes, yes.
thickness, but Steve has
Yeah,
brought that up a bit. Steve has got better arms, better legs, and calves for sure.
yeah.
His back has improved, but they're both very good.
All right,
And
you know what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that Ian won the show last week because of his completeness. He's also improved to a point where he is, I thought, the most complete guy on stage last week. And it was a very strong top 4 or 5.
Yes.
It was himself, Phil, um,
Max Charles
Charles,
and
and Matt. Yeah, the
and
top 4 were very,
yeah.
very strong. And it could have gone, it could have gone a whole lot of ways, but I think the judges got it completely right. At first, I wasn't sure. I watched the show twice because I had it. I had
Okay.
had it on my laptop, and
Okay.
yeah, I definitely agree with the judges with the way they went. Although I do believe it was close all the way across that board in that top 4, very close between all of them. But and Phil really shocked the world. I think I don't think any of us expect him to look that good. He too is in this show at the Texas Pro, so that's another level of excitement there to see if he can kind of make some sort of improvements to top Ian if possible. But I think most likely we're going to see Ian lengthen the gap between them, because if he comes in a little sharper, and Ian, I think, tends to get better as he competes, I think it'll be him. I think it's going to be him and Steve. And if I had to predict a winner, I probably would pick Steve.
You know what? All you said is absolutely true. And but as you said, Ian is better as you get along with shows. As you said, Steve is a bit more complete. It's gonna be a good show, but now what's fun? Now with Philip in the mix, it becomes a not a 3-man show, but you know what? It
Yeah.
becomes exciting because you have
Yes.
somebody new coming in. Now, Phil Clark now has to prove that last week was not a fluke.
Right.
Like he has to
Right.
prove that now. He has to prove it now. You know what? And you know what? He has now, and now in the lineup, you have Hassan Mustafa in the lineup too. So
Yeah.
you know what? It's a good show. Um, I think Steve will get the nod. Maybe not by much, but we'll get it. But like I said, I like Ian's mentality. Ian needs to know, where do I stand against these guys, and that's exactly what you need to
Yeah.
do, because he knows that Steve is a potential top 6 finish at the Olympia.
Yeah.
So that's the
And
best for him to know.
so is he. I mean, I do. I do think that I agree with you. That I think I love Ian's mentality. He came off in that interview with Ron Harris directly after winning. So intelligent, very humble, and at the same time confident. So I think I really respect his mentality.
Yeah, same here, same here. You know what? And we both agree. Like, honestly, you know what? If Ian wins, it will not be a shocker because he's at that point now. But if Ian wins this weekend, it's a huge win for him. It's a
Huge.
huge win because now you go into the Olympia with 2 wins under your belt. And on top of that, you won against somebody that you've never beaten, and somebody as a potential top six finisher, it's the best momentum he can ever have because now he has the Arnold and the Olympia coming in. So for Ian, it's a good thing for him to go there.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be competing against Steve again at the
Yeah.
Arnold. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see whoever wins this week is going to have a chance for redemption.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's going to be really, really cool. This is a really great time in bodybuilding. I love it's always great when we get close to the Olympia, but I think this year, because so many people waited to the last minute, all these final shows are really stacked, and it's the drama is there is to see who's going to prevail. We have the 212 as well at this show. I just want to look at something here for last week from Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me just do this. I think there are some people who are doing the show that were in Tampa. Guy Cisternino is coming back again.
Yes. And Guy, you know what, Guy, we're talking about Guy, which is a good thing. Guy is going in this show with probably, as we all know, an incentive motivation. I don't know how Guy will be mentally. Right now for him, it must be the most horrendous time in his life right now. I wish him the best in that show because, I mean, the world lost something big and he lost something big. And I just hope for that he does very well because it must have been the worst week ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I probably should have started the show by talking about the loss of John Meadows. John Meadows is someone I only met in like brief, like, hi, how are you? This is who I am. And he knew who I was, and he was really nice, super nice. He reached out to me once I announced that I was going to be starting to do these interviews. He reached out to me, congratulated me on the success of This Is Bodybuilding, and how much he likes what I do, and offered to be a guest sometime. And I didn't get to him right away because initially I wanted to talk to people who I was already friends with, people like George Peterson, Alyssa, Patricia, Brett Wilkin, people who I had personal conversations with and was comfortable with until I became a comfortable interviewer. But I was definitely hoping to have him on leading up to the Olympia because he coaches so many champions. I mean, he coached Missy Truscott, Terrence Ruff, Sean Clarita.
I mean,
just so many people.
You know what? When you're saying that, I didn't realize how many people were trained by him. It's wow.
Yeah, huge.
He's huge. I mean, it's unreal. And
huge loss. And that's a show probably unto itself, but just want to say my condolences to his wife and children. I know they're not going to be watching this, but many of his clients or people who he trained, I'm friends with a lot of them, or I know them, and my condolences to them because I know how huge of an impact he was, not just in their training, but in their on their mentality. They were all friends with him, not just clients.
Yeah, and you know what's great about him is, like, you know what, I've been listening to a lot of people talking about him. Nobody has anything bad to say about him. No one. I mean, sometimes, you have that person, whatever, no one. Nobody said anything bad about him. Nothing. It's like that guy was, oh my God, impervious to, because you too, I met him, what? I saw him so often when there was a Toronto Pro Show in Canada. He would be here. And he would pass by me, I would say hi. And the one thing I regret today, I never took a picture with him because in my mind, he was always there.
Right.
He's always there. You know what I mean? I'll take a picture with whatever. And I was like, wow. And to me, like you said, my condolences to the family, to the kids, because they lost a dad she lost a husband, and you know what? We lost someone that because I realized that I was looking at his videos almost every day at one thing. But you know what? It's such part of your life. You don't see it. Like, oh my God, okay, I'm watching John's video on YouTube, whatever. And then when I realized, like, oh my God. And now when I watch it now, and I go, oh my God, it's not there anymore. It's like it's eerie.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't imagine what his clients are feeling. I say
My
clients, I
God.
don't know a better word. They're friends and
They're friends. They're friends. I
yeah,
mean, friends. And
partners in
oh
the
yeah, yeah.
business of bodybuilding.
Oh
Very
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
Okay, let's get
Yes,
back to happier
yes.
note.
After note.
Tampa
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pro, the 212 championship. Guy Sister Nino is coming back to do the
Mm-hmm.
show. Charles Curtis,
Yes.
Toto John.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Ahmed Elistani.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmed I am the worst. Falls. I'm such a stupid American, I guess. It was the
That's all right.
pronunciation of names.
That's all right.
Martin Gomez, Jason Herbert, Austin Carr returning,
Mm-hmm.
Todd Lee, Leonardo Paccio, David Robinson, Carlos Rodriguez. Johnny Shreve's name is on this again. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on
yeah.
the list for Tampa, but he wasn't there. I hope he's at the show. And from Brazil is Rachid Suki. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be, and I said this last week with Tampa, but I do
Okay.
think it's going to be Austin Carr's show. I think Austin learned a lot he did some sort of mistakes in the
Yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
moments, to the critical moments before the stage time, and he paid a price. But
Yeah, yeah.
if
My
he
God,
does
the
what he's
price he
supposed
paid.
to do, he can still win a show and be on that Olympia stage. He's very talented. He's got a great physique, in my opinion.
And you know what? The mistake he made, you know what? That can be corrected. Because from
Yes.
what I heard, like he cut those differently. That can be corrected. I mean, because the physique is there. It's
Yes.
only that he tried something at the end that didn't work, but what's good, the physique is there. So that can be corrected within a week. You
Yeah.
correct it and all that. So
If he
you know what?
does,
If he does, he's going to be hard to beat.
yeah, someone who
That's
I
a one
think
thing for sure.
someone who can beat him, I think is who placed in second. I think past two shows is Ahmed Elastani. I probably
Yes,
mispronounced his name, but
yes,
Ahmed,
yes.
really great bodybuilder.
You know what? Honestly speaking, you know what? If Austin doesn't come correct, this guy will beat him for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be he's going to do well no matter what, and hopefully he makes it to the Olympia. I don't know if 3 second place finishes are going to be good for him.
I don't know because you know why? Because this year you got Mohammed Shaban that did a lot of shows. After Mustafa did a lot of shows. So I don't know if he's gonna have
Well,
enough
this is
points.
212 though.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, shoot, sorry, you're right, you're right.
Yeah,
I, maybe I don't know because I
yeah,
haven't seen the point standings, but that guy has an Olympian physique.
yeah.
He
I
can
love
go
his.
to. Oh yeah, 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 bro. I mean, every show he went in, he always looked good. He
Yeah,
always looked good.
I kind of last week when I watched the show the first time, I watched it um, on my iPad,
Mm-hmm.
and the picture wasn't so great. I thought my iPad had a better picture than my laptop,
Okay.
but I watched it and I kind of had him winning. But then when I watched it back, I watched it on my laptop, and it was actually a much clearer picture. And
Okay.
and oh yeah, Ahmed is second in points, I think, behind John Jewett. So
There you go. Okay, okay, okay,
especially if he
okay.
does well this time. But I had Ahmed winning, but then when I watched it the second time, I think the judges got it completely right.
Oh yeah, because no, the guy that beat him, Gary, he looks good. He's a big,
Tons of
thick
muscle
guy.
on character.
Oh, bro, this guy is. You know what? He's gonna be at the Olympia. He's gonna do good. He's gonna do
Yeah,
good.
Gonna do really well. Yeah, he did really well in Chicago as well, right?
As well. You know
Yeah.
what? Let's go back. That guy's been doing well. Remember at the Euro Pro when he finished third
Yep.
behind what's his name, behind Ashkenani and behind Korea. Even then, he looked good.
Yes.
So this guy has been, like looking good for a long time, and now he's getting his due, which is great.
Yeah, I think yes. I think he'll do well at the Olympia. Yeah, I agreed 100% with the judging in men's bodybuilding and men's 212 and in classic physique. I thought the judging was perfect for
Oh
the
yeah,
for attempt.
that new guy, that young guy, there. Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, so that's Urs. Oh, I had his name here, but I don't. But he was initially on the list to do classic
Okay,
physique
okay,
here, but I contacted him today before I didn't want to do a post. I was going to predict him to be in the top 3 or 4.
okay.
And I just didn't want to do that before I spoke to him. And he said that he actually is not. Now that he's qualified, he's going to concentrate on the Olympia. And they put out a new list today, and he's not on it. But on the list where classic physique are, let me get this bigger so I can see it. Isaac Bayer,
Yes.
Earl Bright Jr., who I know, he's here in Arlington, Texas, actually.
Okay.
Joseph Hill Cortez, Neil Curry, who I think was second.
Yes, yes.
Looked great.
Looks great.
Too.
Yes, yes.
And that was a really great top 2. He's going to probably do really well here. Logan Franklin, who I think will do great. Zanyar Copperpour, I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sure. Tony Harris, Ken Jones, Steve Lorius, Ashlyn Lucas. Ash Lucas, I follow him on Instagram, and he follows me. He's a really good posing artist, nice physique. Danny Rosner, Kim Santos, Ronell Seals, Vladimir Sizov, Robert Timms, Brandon Williams, and Khan Yalaman from Turkey. I think if I was forced to pick a winner, I would go with Logan Franklin.
I was thinking the same thing. And
Logan
Franklin.
He's just, I think Steve Lorius has got all of the gifts in the world. But we said this last week too. He should have walked away with the show last week, but he just does not nail it often. And maybe he'll be different this week. I don't know. But I know that Logan Franklin's going to come right. Like, he's going to come right. He's a warrior, and he wants this better than anything. He wants to be Mr. Olympia better than anything. So,
and you know what you're saying, Steve. My God, you know what angers me? Steve has all the tools to make it to the Olympia, to be a top 3 guy, and even if we push it, to be someone that could go against Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
He has all the tools, everything. I mean, the structure, the arms, everything. But on stage and stage presence, let's face it, he's like boring because he doesn't exude confidence.
Doesn't exude confidence.
No.
Non-existent. And I don't know if that's I don't know.
And you know what? To me, it's something that you need to have to attract the audience, because normally a physique like that, in shape, you'd have nothing to say and people would be attracted to it. But last week, and no offense to the winner, because the winner looked awesome. Okay. Yeah. But Steve should have won that show. And now you're going against Logan Franklin, someone who really wants to be at the Olympia.
Yes.
That's going to be a different, and is he going to have enough time, Steve, to fix the fact that to me, when I saw him on stage, he looked to me like 2, 3 weeks out. Will he be able to to make it up to there? I don't know. I don't know.
He might be, but like you say, it's beyond. I think it's more than just the physical look of his physique. It's the presentation, it's the attitude, it's everything, and that takes a lot to change in 6, 7 days. So
You don't think that's enough.
I just see Logan is more complete. He's more there in terms of as a professional competitor, Olympia level guy. So I think it's going to be Logan's show, but I think it will come. Steve will probably be second. I say that, however, Neil Curry,
Neil Curry, yes.
he beat him last week. He was second last.
Exactly.
He was tight. He was ripped, and he could be second place. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but
You're right.
and also Robert Timms. To me, he has improved his leg size to match his upper body. That guy is phenomenal. His muscle belly, his arms are insane. He could do really well too. I think that's my top 4 if I was to guess. But
and you know what? If you look, you know what? The thing is, for Steve, this lineup is not an easy lineup. It's probably, I would say, even probably stronger than one last week. Because you have Logan Franklin in there.
Yes.
You have Robert Timms in there. 2 Olympians on top of that. I don't know. I mean, I hope that he does good. Because I don't know. You know what? Steve can end up fourth.
He can. And then there's he's going to have to do some soul searching if that's the.
For sure.
He's always been a super sweet, nice guy to me. But I think he is missing that sort of killer instinct and passion that some of the other guys have.
Exactly. And when I'm saying he's worth, because as you said, he's a good guy, very good guy. But on stage, we don't judge your kindness. We judge what you see up there.
Right.
And up there, he doesn't, and it's angry because he's like, look at him and go, my God, you got all the gifts in the world. And you, man, it's I'm telling you, I see him and I'm like, this guy, like I told you, this guy could be a top 2 Olympia against Bumstead at any cost.
Yes.
But now he's missing. You know what he's missing? It's not structure. Conditioning comes down to do your diet right. Is he cheating on his diet or something? I don't know. But it's something in the end that doesn't make him come in really sharp. And it's not a structure, because the structure will always be there.
Yes. Yeah. Man, yes. I thought when I first saw pictures of him back before he turned pro, he had been in another organization prior to coming to the NPC. But I didn't really follow. I didn't know who he was back then because I really don't care about other organizations other than NPC into the IFBB Pro League. And even NPC, I don't really care about too much until we talk about the nationals shows.
For sure.
Because I just too much for me to think about. I don't follow other things. But as soon as I knew of him coming, I'm friends with the guy who was his coach, who turned him pro and brought him to his first pro win was Justin Miller.
Yes.
As soon as I saw pictures of him training, I was like, man, this guy is phenomenal. And Justin Miller was like, this guy is a Mr. Olympia in the making, That was a few years ago. And still waiting. Like I said I said in a post today about Robert Timms, who, when he first came out, I thought that's a future Mr. Olympia for physique, for classic physique. It may not have happened yet, but it could happen in the future. But it's going to take, for Steve, more than just building up any certain body part, because they're all there. It's going to be about a mentality thing.
I mean, It's almost like, he needs, what you call a coach, but for his mental. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
don't really pick on Steve. So we'll move on to
yes.
men's physique. Men's physique. This show has got a million names in it.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, the only name that I picked was going to be the winner of the show, Ramsey's Rams, who won in Chicago.
Chicago, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
On this list, but I did a post saying that I thought he would, I was just glad to see champions who were already qualified for the Olympia doing a show again. And he told me, no, he's not going to do this show.
Okay,
That
so it's going
his
to be
name just hadn't been taken off the list. So he's not going to be doing it. There's no name like, an Andre Ferguson or
George Brown.
George Brown. They're not doing the show. I hope George gets it on points. He probably will. But yeah, so I really won't talk about men's physique because I just don't know too much about it, or the guys who are in it, I should say.
Okay.
Unless you do. Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
No, the thing is, you know what? The thing about men's physique, you know what? There are so many men's physique athletes.
Yeah.
It is very hard to really follow them. I mean, I follow them once they're on stage. I see some of the guys, but by name, there's probably half of them I don't follow on Instagram, probably.
Yeah, me too.
So, so it becomes it's hard. People sometimes, I tell them, but you know what? We don't only speak about the favorites, because remember, men's physique, I would say like figure. There's so many that comes out of pros, and every pro at the amateur shows, you can't follow.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, and to be honest, although I know, what I've gone to these shows, I sit really, really close. I speak to them face to face. The guys who are the top guys are an unbelievably impressive physique, and all the people winning these shows are placing in the top 5 of these shows, not just the Olympia. Very, very impressive. But the division itself is not one that captures my imagination, just because
exactly.
The posing. I'm more into. Bodybuilding is all that existed when we were first fans. Men's open bodybuilding.
Sure.
So that world and the world of 212 and classic physique are what I like. Women's physique, women's bodybuilding, this type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's nothing against these guys as athletes, because they look phenomenal. Bikini, also about men's physique, just to go back to Tampa.
Yeah.
Andre looked freaking amazing. And man, I want to see him win an Olympia. I really do.
That's the only thing he misses.
He can.
And it's like, oh my God. I hope he doesn't become the guy that can't win the big one.
Yeah.
I hope not, because physically he has it. I mean, he won everything. He has won absolutely everything.
Yeah.
He won the Toronto Pro.
He's beaten all the guys. He's beaten Raymond and Brandon, Mr. Olympias, both. Yeah. He's beaten them in other shows. When it comes to the Olympia, he hasn't beaten them to win the title, at least. That's a possibility this year. And I don't need to be a cheerleader, but I really am rooting for him, because it's time.
It's time for to try to get that. Yeah, but it's not going to be easy.
No. A bikini is a rather stacked show, over 20 girls. I think it's 24 girls. But the name that jumps off the page to me right away is one of my favorite bikini girls of all time, champions, Ashley Kaltwasser, 3-time Miss Olympia. I believe she is a 27-time pro show winner. And this weekend, she's competing here on Friday, and on Sunday, she's competing elsewhere. I forget what the location is. But if she wins those two shows, she's doing 2 shows this weekend. If she wins them both, she will be the winningest champion in all of IFBB history.
I know. You know what? I gotta give that to her. She loves to compete.
She loves it. She just can't stop. It's crazy.
It's crazy as well. Man, 2 shows in the same weekend. Okay.
Yeah. And imagine if she wins those both, and she goes on to the Arnold, and she wins the Arnold, and she goes on to the Olympia and wins the Olympia. It would be just an amazing story. But the Olympia is tough. We saw this past week, I think Ashley's going to take the show. I think she's going to take the show, whatever other show she's doing this weekend. But last weekend was a really great bikini show.
Yes, yes.
It was the only show where I kind of had a slight disagreement, and I watched the show twice, like I said. Let me go to the listing here of if I can find bikini.
Yes.
Because right now I'm forgetting the name of the girl who came in second in bikini. Begins with a D. Yes, it was Daraja Hill.
Okay.
Daraja Hill.
Okay.
So the top four were Issa Pacini,
yes,
former Miss Olympia, won the show, looking like a Miss Olympia, phenomenal.
okay.
Daraja Hill was second.
Yes.
Jennifer Dory
Was third.
And Laura Lee
Was fourth.
was fourth. I actually had Daraja, and I watched it twice, and I still agree with myself that I had her still in the top four, but I had her fourth, and I had Jennifer second and Laura Lee in third. And this is because I thought they all beat her from the back, the glutes and hams in particular, but all four looked amazing. So I don't want to take anything away from her. I'm just saying that, and the judges probably know better. They were there. They probably were right, but in my opinion, I had her fourth. But still, they all looked great. Jennifer Dory, I thought, was her best ever, but she was against Issa Pacini, who was probably at her best.
At her best. No, I mean the Olympia bikini this year's gonna be something. It's a hard field. I mean, no, and you know what? If we're gonna put Ashley in there, we have a good top five right there for the Olympia.
Yeah. Yes, it's going to be amazing. I'm rooting for. Well, I like all of those. I'm fans of Ashley's, of Issa, Laura Lee, Dory, Jennifer Dory. May the best woman win. But it would be a great story if Ashley Caldwell wins. It's just a great story.
That would be that fourth title.
Yeah.
You know what? She has to be in the discussion. She has to be in there.
She has to
win everything.
She's winning shows. She's beating so many people. So
many people.
And then we have women's physique at the show. And in the show is Lenka from Russia. Just won in Tampa. She's won, I think, two shows this year.
Yeah, she won Romania. She won Tampa.
She placed second in Tampa.
Yeah.
No, sorry, second in Chicago. She's really, really good. I think she and let me see. I thought that Elizabeth Bradshaw is doing the show as well. Yeah. Where did Liz place last week?
She got second last week.
Yeah, she did. It's probably going to be the top two this week, I think.
I believe, you know what? I believe that too. And you know what? Because I think Liz has enough points to go to Olympia. I think probably now with all her second points, I think she can go.
Yeah.
I think she's qualified for Olympia.
I think so.
I think so. But Lenka, you know what? Unless Lenka really changes that much, I think it's Lenka's show to lose.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the front double bicep is something
unreal.
Right.
Also in the show is someone who I've been following is on Instagram, Macy Tony. She's making. I think this might be her second show. She may have done a show.
Yes, Macy Tony. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
She finished. This was I think in I can't remember the year, but it was the first year that Alyssa Kiesling, the classical queen, went to junior nationals, and Macy placed second to Alyssa. And I had done a post. I wasn't actually in the post. It was in a comment where to somebody where I was kind of critical of Macy and the winner's name, the winner who I can't remember who she is. I don't know if she ever competed as a pro. I was kind of critical of their physiques and said something about their arms being skinny. And I upset both of those girls. They
Oh, really?
had
Okay,
a little
okay,
bit of
okay,
comeback at me there. And I was like, well, whatever, you know.
okay,
I
okay.
don't know if I'm ever going to see them. When Macy won and turned pro, I guess last year,
Yes.
the improvements to her physique were so astounding that I was like, wow. I mean, she made me a fan. Just she's got a really, really beautiful physique.
Yes, yes,
Her arms she's complete. So I hope she does really well. This is her first, I think, really big show that she's doing with
yes.
some big names in it. So I hope she does well. But it's going to be a great show, I think. Really excited to be going to this one. Yeah, I'm excited, really, especially to see Steve and Ian next to each other.
You know what I like with that being like the end of the year, the Olympia shaping up to be a great one.
Really is.
I mean, in every class, it's good battles in every class. Uh, I mean, it's a good thing about, like as you said, with all the drama of the end of the year, the Olympia is going to be something special, really, because I can see every class having battles. Because if you can look at it, I would say, because maybe I'm going like I'm going out of Atlanta. I can say right now the only dominant champion that we have is Chris Bumstead, who's someone that right now we're looking at. You know what? There's nobody right now that are within a year or so that's close to him now. Every other class, that title can just change.
Yeah,
And but even then, even Classic is a great show. Even though Chris right now is turning in, Chris is young, and Chris right now is getting to his own. And Classic will still be great, even though he is the man to beat. But in every class we're going to be there at the Olympia, it's a good show.
very good. I think I think Missy Truscott, if we're talking about women too, is also probably probably she, but you know, Whitney Jones is going to come back strong, I'm sure. But I think there's going to be, I think it's a new era in fitness. So I do think,
Yeah.
I think Missy will take it again. I'm looking here. I know that there's another show coming up the same weekend, I think, in
In
Spain.
Europe, Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that show, I don't know all the names, but I should have looked that up. But I know Ruli Winkler and Nathan Diasha are doing the show. And I think you're the one that told me this, that the top two of that show will qualify.
Yeah, qualify.
So likely they will qualify. But I'm looking now at the Arnold Classic list. The Arnold Classic is the last show of the season that will qualify or could qualify a men's open bodybuilding competitor for the Olympia.
Yes.
But some of these names that are in the show there's many that are already qualified. Akeem Williams, Nick Walker, Ian Valier.
Yes, qualified.
All qualified. Hassan Mustafa, I'm sure, is qualified.
Qualified. William Bonac qualified.
William Bonac, Muhammad El Iman, he's qualified, I believe, on points. And then let's see who else is already qualified. Maybe Steve Kukla will be after this weekend.
Maybe.
So the likelihood of someone other than those guys winning the Arnold and qualifying for the Olympia are really not all that great, except perhaps someone like Sergio Oliva or Cedric McMillan could bring something to the show and surprise a lot of people. But
you know what? You just said something that was right. Honestly, it's almost sad because the Arnold, as you said, highly unlikely the person winning will already be qualified. So right there, it kills the idea of a new guy. So that's why these two shows coming in, the Europa show and the Texas show, are great shows, because after that, we can almost say, you and I, that it's sealed. Because the Arnold will not be something new.
Probably not.
Basically the Arnold was basically the Arnold for someone to go get $100,000.
Right.
And that's what it is. So the Arnold becomes, I wouldn't say irrelevant because it's irrelevant in the sense that the
Right.
winner does not, the winner of that show, we probably already know.
Right. Let's say if, like, for instance, if William Bonac wins it, not only does he make a lot of money, but it's for his legacy.
Oh,
He'd be a third
one.
three-time champion, and it would be huge for his legacy. So
Huge,
it's still an important show. It's whoever wins it
yes.
as the Arnold Classic champion, it's great for their legacy, but it may or may not, probably not, affect this year's Olympians.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Money-wise, it's great for the your legacy is great because everybody wants to win the Arnold, the one in Ohio, which is great. But for the standings for the all, it doesn't change anything.
Unless, like I said, unless Sergio Oliva Jr. can pull something out of his hat. He's got a great physique, and I know he's going to win that title someday.
Someday. You know what? You just said something. Basically, if somebody else wins, it almost becomes an upset. And that guy, and let's put it that way. If somebody not known is winning that show, that person goes to the Olympia with so much momentum. It's unreal.
Yeah, because it's 2 weeks before. So yeah.
Oh my God! If you beat an entire lineup of Olympians, you're a top 2 Olympia for sure.
What do you think? Do you think Nick Walker can do that?
Oh my God! You know what? I heard about that. Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about.
You know what? If you would have told me that last time, I said no. This year, I have William in my mind, but you know what? I'll say like this: if he wins, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about him.
Yeah.
Because
he gets better every time you see him, so who knows how good
exactly.
But to beat William Bonac would be a huge feat. So I don't know.
My
who
God.
knows? It's exciting.
You know what? If he wins it, remember that if he wins that, which means that he's a top 5 Olympian.
Yeah.
That's a feather in your cap. You know? But I'm not sure. I mean, William is not.
He's on a different level. But we'll see.
No, bro. We'll see.
All right, Greg. Thanks, man. I think we talked about everything.
We covered everything. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I appreciate you joining me again.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
Everybody, I want to thank everyone who was subscribed to this channel for subscribing. Tell your friends to tell their friends, to everyone subscribe, because we're putting out a lot of stuff, and I have some really good interviews coming up leading up to the Arnold and the Olympia. There's going to be some really big names on here. I'm pretty excited about. Not that I'm not excited to have you on here, Greg. I'm always excited.
No, it's all right. You know what? Don't worry about it. My ego's safe. Don't worry about it.
Okay, great.
I'm good.
All right. So thanks a lot, man. Everybody, this is Michael Bryson, Greg Ulysse.
All right.
Bodybuilding. Take care.
Yes. Take care.